What's going on? This is Big G from G Riders and welcome to another episode of Testing Rides. Today, I'm going to be testing out the BMW F22 2 Series. Welcome to the F22 BMW 2 Series. This is the successor to the BMW 1 Series, which, had a lot of great driving characteristics and was very fun to drive. And also, it looked pretty good, to be honest. And the 2 Series just kind of built upon that, but it made it look like the other modern BMW lineup cars. So like the F33 Series, this kind of looks like a slightly smaller version of that, and I think this vehicle looks better than the 3 Series. This vehicle here is a 2015 228i xDrive. So they got rid of the 28 numbers back in 2017, and they replaced it with the 230. So basically the 230, I kind of covered this in the 4 Series video. It's a different engine design, and they added some new features to the engine and gave it a little bit more horsepower and torque. But we're not going to get into that this time. But let's just talk about this specific one here. So this is the 2015 BMW 228i xDrive. And the modern new version of this car starts at about $40,000, and this one would be relatively in that $40,000 price range. So the only options this car has on it is the upgraded headlights, the backup camera, the heated seats, and the upgraded sound system. And for that, like a modern 2 Series, would it be about $43,000 or so. But I'll loop this back to this now. Since this is a 2015, cars like this can now be had for $25,000 or less, which is, a pretty decent deal. This one has the N20 inline 4-cylinder, making 240 horsepower, 255 foot-pounds of torque. And this thing weighs about 3,400 pounds. 3,400 pounds for an all-wheel drive coupe like this is actually not bad. To be honest, when I was doing the research for this video, I expected it to be about closer to 4,000. But 3,400 is pretty good. But because of its lightweight and all-wheel drive system, it does do 0 to 60 time about 5 seconds or so. So, that's not bad also. It's a pretty quick car. Welcome to the interior of the BMW 2 Series. So the new 2 Series is not going to be much different than this. That's one thing BMW is kind of famous for, is not changing their interiors much between the years. Like, we'll probably see an all new generation interior with the next generation 2 Series, but for now, the interior is going to be basically the same. So I honestly think that the BMW interior, even though it has been around for been the same for the longest time, they've kind of been able to pinpoint some quality points to make the car's interior pretty decent. So you got your same old BMW climate control, all that stuff around here, CD player, same screen up top, same shifter, same iDrive knob, and same sport and same drive select modes down there, which is pretty nice. I've driven enough BMWs at this point so I kind of know where everything is. Let's go over to the steering wheel. I always like the BMW steering wheel, the shape of the steering wheel and the way it feels. It feels pretty solid in the hands, even though kind of this old style non-M Sport type of steering wheel is getting a little bit dated now. It looks kind of like an E90 3 Series, which is quite old at this point. And I do like the car comes with standard pedal shifters, which is nice. Like I said, this does have the Harman Kardon sound system, so it does say it here right on the top speaker grills, and it doesn't look that bad. But overall, and the seats are they feel pretty nice. They're pretty supportive. They feel kind of like my GTI seats, but I still think my GTI seats are more supportive than this. But for kind of the cheapest car BMW sells, this interior is not bad. And like I said, this car doesn't have a whole lot of options on it, so it's not bad at all. Right, let's get out and drive this bad boy and see how this thing is. driving in the 2 Series, you definitely can tell that this thing got some good power. Like the 0 to 60 in 5-second number, I 100% believe it, because, you know, like you guys just saw that little pull there. This thing takes off when you put your foot down. And, you know, I've driven 3 Series, and then when I drove the 4 Series, like last summer, remember that review, I didn't think it was particularly fast, but also this car weighs about 600 pounds, 700 pounds less than that car did. That car was about 4,000 pounds, which is significantly heavier, and had about the same amount of horsepower. So this just feels so much better. And if I haven't said it before, this is the closest thing to a hot hatch that we're going to get from BMW in the United States. Yes, now the X2 just came out, which is kind of like it's an SUV, but it's hatchback-ish. But as for performance, like hot hatch, this is the closest that we're getting, and in the United States, because, you know, in Europe they have the 1 Series as the hatchback. I already mentioned that, but I wish we got it. But, you know, just kind of judging by how this drives, I would definitely want to get one. So, what do I like about the handling of this BMW? For one, you know, like I said, the power is pretty good. The 240 horsepower, 3,400 pounds is pretty good. The all-wheel drive stability is really nice in this car. The transmission is very good. Let's do a couple shifts. Downshift, downshift, downshifts. It's quick. It's probably not as quick as my GTI, but it's still pretty quick for shifting and upshifting and downshifting both. The ride's very comfortable in this car, actually. Like, we're going over these bumps, and the ride in the GTI is way stiffer than this. Well, I wouldn't say way stiffer, but it's significantly stiffer than this. And I definitely could tell that this is a BMW, because even though BMW is all about performance and this, that, and the other, you can definitely tell that they're still putting luxury and comfort high on the list for their priorities when building a car like this. So, you know, what don't I like about it? Well, I don't like just kind of looking around the car. I don't like kind of how cheap the speedometer area is, just because, like, I've been driving newer BMWs lately, and all this looks way better, way different. I feel like the ride's a little boaty. I feel like this suspension could be a little bit lower or a little bit stiffer, just because this, and they want to call this the sport trim line of this car. And yes, it's sporty-ish, but it's not anywhere near where I feel like it should be. I understand if you want that, you get the M Sport or the M handling package or whatever, but I feel like all 2 Series should be becoming a little stiffer than this one is. But for the most part, it's a nice, comfortable car. I feel like there could be some small tweaks to the drivetrain here to make it even better. But, you know, as a standard cheap BMW product, it's pretty good. And I'm just saying cheap really loosely, because the base 2 Series starts at $36,000 or so, which is kind of a lot. And, you know, I like driving it, so now I'm gonna ask Michael, the owner of this car, a couple questions. So, Michael, how have you liked owning this car?
Love it.
Love it. Any more details, like things that you like about it, things that you might not like about it so much?
What I really like about this car is that it is not cheap, but cheap as in the luxury line. Everyday driver. This is kind of more of like the modern everyday Civic you drive in. Get good gas mileage on the freeway. You get up to about 36 on the freeway, it says on the website, but realistically combining, you'll probably get about 28 miles per gallon.
Yeah.
Things that I probably don't like about it is that when the M2 or the M235 came out, it's basically the bigger engine of this car.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like when you know that version's out there, you're like, well, damn, I should have got that one. Like, but there's a big price difference between that one and this one, though.
Yeah.
Because an xDrive 230 M240, say M240 now, is about $50,000,
yeah,
which is
too expensive.
It's a lot, but if you, in the grand scheme of things, it's not significantly more than one of these are. Like I said, like I built this car up on the new 230 online. I'll show you the picture of of the build list of this car, really, and it's about $40,000. It's a little over $40,000, which it's a lot. But you got to consider that this car has all-wheel drive. This car does have space for 4 people in the car. Like, even though this is a 2-door, it does have a very usable back seat. The trunk space is pretty decent, and it's just an overall usable car. Like, you've had people in the back seat before.
Yeah, all the time.
And it actually works. Unlike, you know, other cars like a base V6 Camaro or a base EcoBoost Mustang, where the back seat is basically non-existent. Or a car like, even like, say, like the A3. The A3, this car competes directly with the A3, even though this is kind of a coupe and the A3 is a 4-door sedan. This has more backseat space than that. So, you know, BMW is definitely doing something right with this car. And honestly, if you're looking to get like a smaller, fun to drive car, even though this is the cheapest car to buy from BMW and you really don't want a bigger car, this is definitely the car for you. Like, you know, it's comfortable. Like, you guys know I'm a big dude. I'm over 350 pounds, over 6'1" tall, and I'm very comfortable in this car. Actually, I'm comfortable enough in this car to where I'd actually want to own it, which is saying quite a bit. Like, I sit nice and low in the car. Like, I got lots of leg space, lots of shoulder space. Like, you know, it's very, very roomy, and BMW did a wonderful job with this car. And all their cars are kind of like this nowadays, because like the 3 Series and the 4 Series and all that, they have plenty of space, even for us big dudes. So, you know, BMW built a pretty solid car here, and I feel like if you're looking for a smaller, fun to drive BMW daily driver, you should definitely be looking at a 2 Series over a 3 Series or even a 4 Series. But that's just my opinion. What do you think, Michael?
I think that's absolutely correct, Glenn.
All right. Well, we'll sign out here, and we'll see you next video.